Are you tired of feeling powerless against bullies? Are you ready to take back control and stand tall with your head up high? Most people you know would have experienced bullying in some form or another. Either you've witnessed it or you've experienced it personally. So in this video, I want to arm you with some of the tools and strategies so you can overcome even the meanest bullies, no matter how big. Now, before we begin, I want to state that I have bullied people before in the past, and I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed to say it. I've also had to run for my life before, and I've also protected people from bullies before. My son is going into secondary school in September 23, so it's a few months away, and I'm worried about him, you know. So all of this shit has come up to the surface again. So I decided I need to talk about it. I'm in a position where hopefully I can give some advice that might help you. Now, the reason why people bully varies from person to person, but they do share a few common characteristics. For example, some people do it because they know that it gets them what they want. Some people will do it because they have low self-esteem and they feel insecure, so they want to try and make themselves feel better. And some do it because they're jealous of you. You might not believe that. It might sound a bit crazy, but it's true. Now, bullying happens in all kinds of places. You know, a few off the top that I can think about. Obviously, school, online, in the workplace, and even in the home. I hope that's not you, but yeah, even in the home, maybe a brother or a parent. But the first place that springs to mind when you think of bullying is the playground. And this is the first place really it tends to occur. And I think this is because it's the first stage in life where, you know, you'll be thrust into a huge crowd of people. You're trying to find your place in the world. You're trying to figure shit out. You're trying to fit in. You're trying to establish some kind of self-worth. And school bullies, they'll normally target people who are smaller than them or younger than them. Oftentimes, there'll be people who are marginalised or part of a minority group or even an ethnic minority group. Like I said, sometimes it's jealousy and envy that pushes people to bully, and they will target people that have personal traits or characteristics or skills, relationships or possessions that the bullies wish they had. So they're fucking jealous of you, bro. They're fucking jealous of you. They will often use tactics like insults, intimidation, threats, intentional exclusion and spreading rumours, or like smear campaigning. If you're an adult, that tends to be what people do when they don't want to confront you physically. So what can you do about them? Well, I am who I am, so I'm going to give you the rugged father approach. And that's what my dad did for me. And to be honest, it fucking works. Not 100% of the time. Nothing works 100% of the time. Okay, I did say in a few videos back, you know, I don't want my son to be a fighter, but he always stands up for himself, and it's important that you stand up for yourself. This shit doesn't work 100% of the time. Nothing does, okay? Bullying is not going anywhere either. This is never going to fucking change. It's not. So you have to learn to deal with it, and you have to learn to combat it however you can. So let's say you are in school and this is happening for you right now. Now, it's not nice, and I'm sorry, but I can sum it up in one sentence, okay? You need to stop being a fucking pussy. Or a nicer way of putting it is, you have to fucking stand up for yourself. One time specifically, I learned that standing up for yourself is the most effective way to deal with these people. So when I was younger, I got robbed at knife point, and I was robbed successfully, shall we say. They took stuff off of me. But Brighton, where I live, the city, Brighton, is quite a small place, and you tend to bump into people. And I would see these kids around, you know, a couple times a year, and every time I saw them, I'd shit my pants and just fucking run. I'd just be gone. And then another day I was walking home. You know, this happened like a few times. I saw them and I just fucking ran. I just made a run for it. And you know, they chased me every time. Do you know what I mean? But on one occasion, I was walking up this road, and I saw this guy who robbed me at knife point with another guy walking up the hill behind me, and they spotted me. And I told my friend, I was like, shit, it's those guys that robbed me at knife point. It's like, you need to fucking run. We both started running. Something came to my head. I was just like, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm not fucking running anymore. I've had enough of this. So I turned around and fucking went back straight for them. And the guy who fucking robbed me at knife point shat his pants. They fucking ran into a shop. They didn't want it anymore. Do you know what I mean? So it was at that point that I really learned that if you are on the receiving end of this sort of shit, you have to fucking stand up for yourself no matter what. So let's say this is you right now. You're in your school era. You know, maybe you're getting tormented by people all the time, getting chased by people all the time. It's happened to me. I know exactly what it feels like. You know, people calling you names, all of that shit. Do you know what I mean? What can you do? What can you do to combat it? Now, the first thing I would say is that it comes in there's three things that you can do, really. This is my opinion, okay? Again, I'm not a fucking professional. I'm not a fucking social worker. This is what I know that has worked for me, okay? So the first sort of layer or level of deterrent is going to be your body language. Now, they're looking at you, and the signal that you're giving off is telling them that you're a pussy, basically, and they can fuck with you. They can do whatever they want because you're not going to do shit. So your body language is the first signal, it's the first thing they're going to notice when they look at you. So you need to be standing up tall, your shoulders need to be back, and your chin needs to be up. Do you know what I mean? Not like so far up where if someone fucking knocks you, you're going to get knocked out. Do you know what I mean? Stand up tall with your head held high, your shoulders back, and move slowly. Don't fucking rush around. If you're rushing, scurrying around all quickly, fucking hunched over, do you know what I mean? You look nervous. They're going to know that you're a fucking easy target. So yeah, your body language is the first thing you want to try to improve. Practice, okay? Practice moving calmly, standing up tall with your shoulders back and your head held high. The second level of defense or deterrent or whatever it's going to be, whatever you want to call it, is language. Now you can use this in two ways, not speaking and speaking. Okay, so sometimes the bullies, they want a fucking reaction out of you. So they've singled you out as, via your body language, as someone who they can fuck with. Sometimes they just want to get a reaction out of you. So they're going to start fucking poking at you, saying shit to try and provoke a reaction. So you can ignore it, okay? You can sit there and just ignore it, pretend you're not hearing it. But, you know, that's not going to work every time. What you can do to use your language, you can tell someone, you can tell a teacher about this, do you know what I mean? Or a head teacher or whatever it is. But I know that will then get you labelled as a grass or a snitch. And that's not going to be good for you either. Although if it is severe and it persists, I do recommend that you do that. There's nothing to say that you cannot do that. But in the moment, say if you're on a school bus home, there's no teachers there, so it doesn't really fucking help you, does it? So what do? You try to ignore them. They're carrying on persisting. So if you can't think of a smart-ass remark to belittle them or something to clap back with. So I saw Hamza saying something like, oh, tell them they're weird, tell them to stop being weird. Do you know what I mean? I honestly don't think that's going to work. It's not going to work. So if you can't think of something smart-ass to belittle them with, if you embarrass them, it's worse. It's going to be worse for them, basically. They're not going to like that feeling of embarrassment. Again, that could also backfire. Even if you tell them to stop being weird, they might just be the sort of person that thinks, well, fuck you, I'm going to punch you in the face. What are you going to do now? So just to recap this little portion, you can try to ignore them. You can tell a teacher or a head teacher or whatever it is. If that's not available to you, you can think of a smart-ass comment to try and embarrass them. If that doesn't work, tell them to shut up, calmly. Again, they like seeing a reaction from you. That's the whole reason they do this. That's what they get off on. So don't give them the reaction. Give them as little as possible. So the third level of deterrent, and to be honest, this is the one that you can rely on. And I know it's not nice to say, and it's not easy for everyone, but being physical is going to be your last line of defense, and that's what it is. It is a very, very last resort. And sometimes these pricks are just going to get physical regardless of your body language or what you say, or if you've told them or not. So normally the bullying it's very rare that it's going to be one person going up to another single person. Generally, it's going to be, you know, two or more people where you're going to be approached and they're going to start bullying, either throwing insults at you or starting to be physical. Do you know what I mean? So in the scenario where there's multiple people, there will be one person who is doing all the talking, and that is the person who you need to hit first. Because think about it, they're in their little group. They've established themselves as the leader, if you will, because they're doing all the talking. They're like the spokesperson. So if you hit them first, that is going to send a message to the other people, okay? And by that same token, you could go for the biggest one first. This is something that my dad taught me. If there's a group of people, you always knock out the biggest one first, because they're going to think, well, he's gone for the fucking biggest one. This guy's nuts. Do you know what I mean? It's just a little psychological trick. The other kids are then going to shit themselves. If you're in a situation or where something has already occurred and you were overwhelmed, you were too outnumbered, you couldn't fight back, you should always go back and get the instigator one-on-one. And you should do that as soon as possible. Don't leave it like fucking 2 weeks or a month. Like, as close to that day or the next 2 days as possible. And don't make noise about it. Don't tell loads of people what you're going to do, because that's a sign that you're not going to do it. You just have to let them know that it's not going to fly anymore. Guys, you need to remember, it's okay to get beaten up. Okay? It's okay to get beaten up. I've been beaten up loads of times. Loads of times. I had my jaw broken in 3 places. I was on pureed food for 3 months. Another time, I had my head kicked in by 3 people. And that was stopping a stranger in public. I saw a kid getting bullied and I tried to stick up for him. But that's okay, because I stood up for myself and I didn't take any shit. And I stood my ground regardless of whatever the outcome was going to be. You can heal from a beating, okay? You can. A really bad beating you can heal from. But the internal scars, the internal suffering, the self-loathing, the self-pity, you know, that shit might never go away, okay? It might be irreversible. It commands respect and is admirable to go out on your shield, even if you know you're going to get the shit kicked out of you. It doesn't command respect to say nothing and do nothing, okay? Trust me, if you stick up for yourself twice, just twice, it's going to send a message that you're going to be well left alone. You're not to be fucked with, okay? They will know even if they can beat you up, they'll know that you're going to have it with them no matter what. You're still going to fight them even though you're going to lose. And they're going to get punched in the face. And nobody wants to get punched in the face, let's be honest. So try that. Stick up for yourself once, stick up for yourself twice, and then just see what's changed. Now, all of this said, you cannot go around flipping out on everyone and trying to beat everybody up. It's not fucking cool. That's not what you do. You have to know when to do it. You have to know, is the reason strong enough for you to do it? It is a last, very, very last resort. Now, I know that not every person is a natural fighter. And while some people will take to it like a duck to water, other people are going to really have to try to, learn these things. The body language, just speaking back and then being physical. It's not fucking easy. I do know that. But if you are somebody who's not a natural fighter, do yourself a favour and start going to boxing classes or another combat sport, okay? Now, like I said, violence is not the answer. At least if you put yourself in that scenario in a boxing gym where you're protected, the other person is protected, it's going to build your character for one. It's going to help you more calm in those situations because you're going to be fucking doing it all the time. You're going to be getting punched in the face all the time. No big deal. And I guarantee you there's going to be at least one point in your life where you are going to need to defend yourself. It's not about being a fucking tough guy or thinking you're harder than everyone else. It's just about learning to protect yourself. And that is all you need to do. You have to stand up for yourself and you have to protect yourself. Because one day you are going to need it. I guarantee you. Now, another place where people get bullied is online. And I'm lucky because I fucking skipped this whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I grew up in a time when we didn't have internet in secondary school. It was not a thing. But I'm aware of how fucking prevalent it is now and how it, has pushed some kids to suicide. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very fucking sad. So how do we deal with this, in my opinion? First of all, you shouldn't be using social media, okay? And I'm kind of contradicting myself here because I use Instagram for this stuff. Do you know what I mean? I only post stuff that will hopefully push people to this channel. So it's a business essentially. So it's kind of different. I don't mingle on there. I don't post shit all day long. I'm not on Facebook posting angry statuses or anything else. Or do you know what I mean? But you do not need to be on social media. One thing that kids need to get to grips with is the fact that social media is not what you think it is. And I know it's probably really difficult because everybody is on it. Everybody is on it. You feel like your whole world and your whole social life evolves more around being on social media than it does meeting in person. I get it. But you don't need it, okay? It's terrible for your mental health. We know this. It's backed with real peer-mentored research and fact that it is terrible for your mental health. So you shouldn't be doing it. But if you are somebody who's using it, and this is obviously a scenario where the physical is out of it, and that's why it's so fucking bad as well, is because you can't physically do a thing about it. It's done and it's on there, until it's deleted for fucking everyone to see for eternity. So this is a situation where you definitely do have to tell people about it. You should ignore the comment. If it's a comment or a picture, you should ignore that. But you should tell your friends, your family, tell the teachers at school. And you can also report their accounts and get them, deleted or whatever, shut down, blocked. So that is a situation where, you have to tell people. Don't hang on to those thoughts and feelings and do nothing. Obviously you can't be physical, so you have to speak up in that situation. Another place where bullying happens, obviously once you leave school, college or whatever, you're going to be in the workplace, or maybe you'll be at university, but 9 times out of 10 for most people it's going to be in the workplace. You might have a fucking office job and you go over to the fucking water filter and there's a bunch of pricks always there giving you shit all the time. Obviously, you're a fucking adult now. You're a grown-up. You realise that you can't go around smashing people in the face all the time, especially if, you know, you're at your workplace. This is how you pay your bills. This is how you feed your kids. You can't go around knocking people out every day. It just doesn't work like that. You'll go to prison now. You know, that's another thing, is that when you're younger, I don't want to say you can get away with this behaviour, do you know what I mean? Because you can't. You get kicked out of school. I did. I got kicked out of every school I was ever in. But that's not to say that you're a bad person. And it's not to say that you're going to have a shit life, because it's not fucking true. Obviously, violence is not the fucking answer. When you get older, you cannot go around just hitting everyone just for the sake of it. If you're in a situation where you're at work and you're getting the shit end of the stick of the banter all the time, or that's another thing. Is it banter or is it a repetitive thing? And does it make you feel bad, or are you laughing as well and thinking this is actually funny? Do you know what I mean? You need to differentiate between those things. Now, if this is you and you're getting bullied in the workplace, or you're getting the piss taken out of you a little bit too much, you don't feel good, you don't feel happy and confident in the workplace, and you get pissed off about going to work, again, go to the ringleader, go to the instigator, and calmly, always calmly, say to them, I don't appreciate you talking to me that way. And politely ask them, if they have a problem with you, to come and see you on their own directly, and that you'll be more than happy to discuss the issue with them. And that 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do it, to be honest. They're just going to leave you alone, because you've let them know that, A, you're prepared to go up to them and tell them that you're pissed off, you're not happy, you don't like it. And you've also told them that you're willing to confront them one-on-one directly, whether you meant something else or not. Okay, and that's a deterrent in itself. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one.